So this is a test of the different rundown of steps and types of animations I did for my primitive. So I'm going to go ahead and enable. I just want to try to get through them quick so I don't have to sit through class and play through all of them. I can skip through and fast forward if I want. So I just want to kind of play through and see how each of these are actually going to act. If it's going to now. There we go. Got the gravity going. Just trying to see how some of these things start to crumple and what they do with different types of settings. So I can go more in depth with that if people want to figure that out. You can just see some of the iterative steps that I kind of pulled out as I did this. Just seeing the crumple of that centerpiece kind of crumpling as it goes. So this is a start. As it goes down to the end, how the piece kind of starts to fall outside of the surrounding primitive. So I started to do these just kind of bigger so people can see more of what's going on. And there's different effects that are occurring with each of them. I don't know why it keeps doing this. There we go. The gravity is a little slow, so sorry guys. But this one I kind of made the effects a little bit more drastic. And I let it play out a little bit more so you can kind of see how the interior primitive starts to spill out of the outside. So there's a few more iterative steps over there that I can show as well. Go ahead and disable that. And then here's where I first started doing an inflation test, but first I had to deflate my primitive. So I'll just kind of show you that quick. I don't know why it keeps doing this. There we go. So as it falls, see it starting to crumple. So this is what I wanted for my next step of processes. I wanted something that was deflated so I could inflate it within a bounding condition. So I'll go ahead and turn him off and I'll show you the first inflation steps that I did. Turn him on. Alright, so I really rapidly just kind of expanded this guy. But he wasn't really doing what I wanted. I don't really have any of them in a good spot yet, but I'm getting closer, as you'll see when I get towards the end. Go ahead and turn him off again. Let's go ahead and enable. So down here, you'll see where it says Notes and Cloth Shape 15. A water-filled balloon is simulated here by using the volume pressure method. So actually if you go up here under your end cloth, there's actually all these presets that you can do. So I'm actually using the water balloon preset. So a couple of the other ones that I used are water volume and beach ball. So essentially what it does is Maya has a bunch of preset options that you can do to try to do these pressure inflations or other types of settings that you want to do. So I just went ahead and tried to check this one out quick. As you can see, it's got a very liquidy response to it, but it just kind of started floating around, so I messed with more settings as I went from there. Kind of makes me think of like a little jellyfish or something. Alright. So, nope, forgot to enable. There we go. So this guy was just kind of like a rapid expansion. So it went from kind of one extreme to the other. For this, I actually went through and did my own manual pressure setting. So what I did was just set the pressure kind of high. And then the thing that allowed me to effectively create it to where it did that is the resistance factors right here. So you've got a virtually no stretch resistance, no compression resistance, any resistances of any kind. So if I were to come in here and even increase the rigidity to 0.1, you'll see that it won't do anything. It just becomes kind of like a little flat blob and then just floats down. So what I went ahead and did with the next step was I actually started playing with the deform resistance, and I'll show you more with that over there. Kind of give me more of what I wanted. Don't have to do that every time. But yeah, so you can see that it's kind of a more controlled inflation that's starting to get to the outer edges of the bounding box that I've created. So what that is I actually went in and started messing with the stretch dampener. And then, yeah, also the deform resistance. So the more resistance that I gave it, the less wacky it became, and it didn't blow up quite as much as this one did. And then by giving myself a stretch dampener, it slowed down the amount of stretching that occurred. So if I go back and set this at like 0.1 or 0.25, sorry, I wish I could talk, it's late. See that it kind of starts to inflate and stretch at a more rapid pace compared to the one that it was at. So it's going a little bit slower. But then with the deform resistance, if I were to set that at a 0, it's going to start getting crazy like it was in the last one. Because there's virtually no resistance on the object. It'll just continue to fill and expand until it goes throughout the entirety of the bounding box that it's in. So that's just a few of the things that I've found out while messing with this different kind of bounding conditions in Maya. So yeah.